Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. I'm Laura Ellsworth. I'm partner in charge of Jones Day's Pittsburgh office, and I'm also the new chair of the Greater Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce. And we're here today to talk about an important issue, the importance of eliminating the capital stock and franchise tax once and for all. And this is an issue that is not just the Chamber's issue. We are a member of Compete PA, a coalition of 130 businesses and organizations across the state that are committed to business and job creation, and together among them employ more than half of the private sector workforce of the Commonwealth. So why are we here today, and why is this issue of importance to us? Because in 2015 we have a historic opportunity, an opportunity to eliminate once and for all one of the most uncompetitive business taxes in the state and maybe in the nation. Pennsylvania is one of only a handful of states that taxes companies both on the income they make through the corporate income tax and on the assets. That's the CSFT that we're talking about here today. What's the effect of that double taxation? It is a burden on existing companies, and it is also a huge impediment to getting other companies to come, site themselves in Pennsylvania, invest in Pennsylvania, and lead to job creation in Pennsylvania. The CSFT was originally scheduled to phase out in 2009 and has been in sort of phase-out mode ever since, but it is still here, and we're still talking about it in 2015. It is still a barrier to economic competitiveness and job creation in this Commonwealth, and it is time that we did away with it once and for all. There is a climate of uncertainty for businesses. If we don't know for sure that it's gone, we won't be able to attract the long-term investment that we need and the job creation that we need. So we are particularly thrilled to have with us today the new Speaker of the House, Mike Turzai, who has been a long time and steadfast, one of the strongest supporters in the Commonwealth for the phase out of this non-competitive tax. And so we are thrilled to have him here. We congratulate him on being elected Speaker.
Oh, Laura, thank you.
And we're thrilled to stand with you here today on this issue.
Oh, Laura, congratulations on taking over as the president of the Greater Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce, an outstanding organization. And they with their teammate, the Allegheny Conference, really have been the cornerstone of the private-public partnership that's been really a strong point, I think, of our Southwest region with Pittsburgh at its center, and a great team player in the state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as well. We have with us good friends from Alcoa as well and from PPG, two significant employers in Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania, and we're very, very appreciative. Laura will also be introducing David Cranston, president of Cranston Material Handling Equipment Corp. Shortly. I just want to make a few points with respect to the phase out of the capital stock and franchise tax. Folks, this started back in 1997 under Governor Ridge. And by and large, it has been a bipartisan support that began under Governor Ridge, continued under Governor Rendell, and is just about finished as we get here to January 1st of 2016. It will be eliminated. It also, under the 4 years under Governor Corbett, we have continued to phase down the capital stock and franchise tax. And it went from 12.75 mils, and today it stands at 0.45 mils. And we continued to phase it down under the last 4 years because we were focused on job creation. It went down from 2.89 mils to the 0.45 mils that it stands at today. And okay, I know those are numbers. Let me tell you why the importance of eliminating the capital stock and franchise tax in tangible terms. Folks, when we took office 4 years ago, the Republicans, when we took back the majority with Governor Corbett, the unemployment rate stood at 8.2% in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Today, it is 4.8% in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Better than every neighboring state, although we're tied with Ohio, but better than every neighboring state. And here in the Pittsburgh region, Southwest Pennsylvania, the unemployment rate stands at 4.4%. The fact of the matter is there's a tangible economic job growth in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and it's been because we have stayed steady and committed to making sure that there's an economic climate for job creators, private sector employers to stay here, expand here, locate here, or start up here. That's the key. And the Allegheny Conference and the Greater Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce, they've been leaders on this front, and our teammates. This is one of those issues, it's not necessarily showy or on the front page, but we have to understand that Pennsylvania has had two, not one, but two business taxes levied on its employers. And we are just on the verge of making sure that we eliminate one of those two taxes. Now, we have heard that some people want to freeze the tax or they want to roll it back and increase it. That's not the right message. And that's why we're here today. We want to say by January 1st of 2016, this tax is going to be gone. It stands at 0.45 mils for the rest of this calendar year. Let's not make any changes during the budget negotiations, and let's celebrate. Since we began in 1997, let's celebrate the fact that we are finally going to get rid of this onerous second tax on the employers in our Commonwealth. At this time, let me turn it to Laura. She's going to introduce you, an employer in our region, and I thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. David Cranston. He is a small business owner from McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, a third-generation business owner. And this is an issue that is important to the large employers like Alcoa and PPG, but it is also equally important to small business owners. David's company is Cranston Material Handling Equipment Company, and he's going to talk to you in his role as the third-generation business owner and also in his capacity as chair of the NFIB, Pennsylvania Leadership Council, which is also focused on this issue. David.
Thank you. Again, my name is Dave Cranston, and I'm here today on behalf of NFIB and our 15,000 small business owner members across the state of Pennsylvania. As Mike mentioned, there's been talk in Harrisburg that this legislature may not provide the promised relief to small businesses across our state by continuing the phase out of the onerous capital stock and franchise tax. The CSFT is a property tax that is imposed on the capital stock value of businesses in Pennsylvania and is determined through a fairly complex formula. The tax is also assessed on a business whether it is profitable or not. By levying taxes on a business's value, the capital stock and franchise tax stands in opposition to the goal of entrepreneurship, which is to grow and expand our businesses. It also discourages investment in technology and equipment that is needed to compete in the 21st century. Most states do not levy this, and those that do are moving away from it. In fact, West Virginia this year completed the phase out of its franchise tax. The law signed by Governor Ridge in 2000 scheduled a gradual phase out of this tax, and unfortunately that phase out has been either delayed or extended 5 times over the last several years. And so here we are still 15 years later laboring under this onerous burden. In announcing this initiative, Governor Ridge referred to the capital stock and franchise tax as a two-headed monster attacking both a company's income and its net worth. He went on to say, "Let's kill the monster. It's bold and it's exactly what we need. It will send an unmistakable signal to the world that Pennsylvania gets it, that we mean business." If we do not allow the capital stock and franchise tax to be phased out this year, the message we would be sending to the rest of the world is Pennsylvania doesn't keep its word. And we are a state unwilling to reduce the tax and regulatory burdens that small businesses across this state have to endure. Not only is the cost of paying the tax, but there's also the cost of compliance. The cost of compliance for small businesses as a percentage of revenues, it's much higher than our larger counterparts in the business community. The cost of paperwork is the most expensive burden the government imposes on small business owners, an estimated cost of $74 per hour. The capital stock and franchise tax is a perfect example of this. There are many small businesses who do not even owe the tax, yet they still have to comply and fill out the paperwork and send it into Harrisburg each year. Many politicians don't understand how fragile small businesses are. every tax and regulatory burden puts job creators further and further at risk. The state needs to keep its promises to the business community to reduce an already high state tax burden, thereby allowing us to further invest in our employees, in technology, and equipment. And I want to thank Speaker Turzai for his willingness to insist that the state of Pennsylvania keep its promises to small business, the mom and pop family businesses that provide employment to hundreds of thousands of Pennsylvanians across our state.
Just in conclusion, I want to again thank Laura Ellsworth and David Cranston and those folks from Alcoa and PPG who stand with us today. Please note that in making sure that the capital stock and franchise tax is phased out here on January 1st of 2016, please note that Pennsylvania still has a corporate income tax of 9.99%, the second highest in the nation, and spread across 7 distinct funds in the Commonwealth. Our corporations face more than 20 taxes, along with nearly 200 other assessments, minor taxes, assessment fees, licensing fees, and other revenue-generating items. It's not as if the corporate community is not paying taxes and fees to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But it's important that we phase out one of the 2 taxes, and we began this journey back in the late 90s, and we need to finish it and not in any way impede that phase out that's going to take place on January 1st of 2016. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate your being here today.